Hi, are you here for the gardening session? Come on in. We're closed and we've missed you so much. Keep your distance. Come in and I'll show you what's been happening while you've been away. Let's head this way. This is the set of where I've been shooting stories for the little kids. Our story time in your house. Looks a bit messy, doesn't it? Let's head this way now. Here's Julie. She's on the phone. People are still ringing us. We need to help them with their inquiries. Good on you, Julie. Down here is going to look really different. We've changed things a lot. All the shelves have been moved. We're going to move our desks that are upstairs. We're going to move them down here and we're going to work from down here while upstairs we're painting and recarpeting that whole area. It's a big change for us. Let's go to the garden. Here's our garden. Hi, so welcome to our school holiday gardening activity. You've been planting and harvesting this garden for a couple of years now. Unfortunately you can't come this time, but I'm going to do it with you through this camera. We've been working on a rotation gardening planting scheme, and we're going to plant a winter crop today. This is what we're going to need. So we'll need a trowel to dig some holes, a garden fork or rake to move some soil around. We'll need packets of seeds, some lovely seedlings, and our trusty, musty gardening gloves. Ready for work. So we're starting with our heavy bed. In the rotation system, you need one heavy bed. This is our heavy bed. Last season it had legumes in it, so the soil is nice and fertile and suitable for plants that require a lot of nutrient when they're growing. We're going to use beetroot, but you could use something like spinach, any of the brassicas, Brussels sprouts. Oh, they're so delicious, aren't they? And these beetroot seedlings are a little bit small. You can see that I've used toilet roll holders to germinate these seedlings in, and I left it a little bit late. That's why they're a little bit small. So I'm going to be very, very gentle when I plant those into the soil. So I dig a nice hole and carefully peel away that toilet roll. It's easy to peel because it's very moist from the soil, and pop the little seedlings into the hole and gently fill the soil around them. And I'm going to push them down, and I create a little ring around the seedlings. And when I water that, the water is going to gather into that ring and soak down and encourage the little roots to grow out, and the seedling will be able to grow really well. So we've planted beetroot in our heavy feeders bed. We're moving on now to our light bed. This is soil that's had a heavy bed in it before. It's a bit depleted, not so much nutrient in it, so it's good for light feeders such as carrots and onions. We're going to plant some onions in this. Now there's two ways that we could be planting some onion seeds. Let's have a look at them. So they're pretty small, aren't they? It's really hard to pick them up one at a time and plant them. And when we're using seeds, we sow a seed. So we plant a seedling, we sow a seed. There's two ways we can sow our seeds. One is to sow them in rows. So you make a row in your soil and you sprinkle the seed along the row. But for the onion seeds, I'm actually going to do what's called broadcasting. These spring onion seeds. Broadcasting means that you spread the seed over a wide area and then press and water them in. So it doesn't matter where they go, they're all scattered. So let's loosen the soil, just roughly. And then we take our seed packet, we just scatter the seeds and spread them around the soil. Just like that. And I'll water them in a little while. So we've moved now to this bed. Last season, when we planted our summer crops, it was our light feeding plants bed. That's its label. A bit weathered now. And you can see I've got leftover crop of carrots. I haven't pulled those out because they're quite slow growing. They didn't quite grow fast enough over the summer for us to warrant harvesting them. So you can see they're quite little. So I'm going to leave those and we can harvest them a little bit later. But in the rest of this bed, I'm going to plant what's called a green manure crop. Now in this green manure, it's a mix of plants that we're going to dig back into the soil to put the nutrient into the soil. I'm just going to show you what the seeds look like. You can see there's a mix of seeds, all sorts of things. There's wheat and other sorts of grains, and we're going to broadcast this into this bed. Now you remember, broadcasting is scattering. Let's get rid of a few of these carrots. We're going to scatter the seeds onto here. Now, I'm putting these on as thick as I can. I want lots of little plants growing here. And when they get about this big, before they start flowering, we're going to chop them off and dig them back into the soil. That's what happened last season in this bed. And that put lots of nutrients back into here so we can follow it with some other plants. And we've moved now to our final bed. It's what's called the legume bed. Now legumes are very special plants. They have the ability to draw nitrogen in from the atmosphere and put it in the soil. And nitrogen is really important for plants. So last summer we used peas and beans, and for winter I'm going to use broad beans. Let's have a look at the seeds. They are enormous. So I don't have to broadcast these ones. I can plant them one by one. And we're going to do that in a couple of rows. So take the big seed and just push it into the soil. Push them nice and deep into the soil. I'm spacing them well apart because these are quite big plants. They create big pods and they fix all that beautiful nitrogen into the soil. Done. Now all that's left to do is water this in. We'll label all the beds and then we'll say goodbye. So it's time to water all our seeds and seedlings. We are on level 5 restrictions here in Orange. It means you can only water on a Sunday. So do your planting and sowing on a Sunday so you can water them really well. need to label. I'm going to label with the beds. So bed 2 is this one here. And now I'll attach it to the bed so I know where we're up to in our rotation. So I'm going to do that for each of the beds. Tell me which bed it is and what's in it. So, well done! We've planted and sowed our winter crops in our library garden. If you want to learn more about rotational gardening and farming, you can do that. Look, there's plenty of information about heavy feeders, light feeders, and the sorts of plants you can put in a rotation gardening on the web. When the library reopens, we've got heaps of books with projects for you to do in the garden for kids and adults, and I can't wait to have you back in the library. Until then, see you.